Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Come on and sit down because today we're talking about reality television. Reality shows are one of the most popular genres of television around right now. And in fact, it seems that the genre is currently at its peak popularity with hundreds of new shows releasing every year. The same show cloned 8 different times, hundreds of them done in 12 different languages. As trashy as they may be, people can't get enough of the drama that comes from these shows, often building obsessive fan bases and communities around them. This, however, can lead to some pretty life-altering events for the contestants involved in them. Just recently, a viral clip from the show Temptation Island Spain has been making the rounds. Temptation Island is a reality show where unmarried couples split off to meet hot singles and have their faithfulness tested. Just a disaster. Just an absolute disaster. In the most recent season, a man named Montoya has had to watch his girlfriend Anita cheat on him 3 separate times as he crashes out on camera for millions to see, and it just goes viral. She's just getting dicked down all the time. He rips off his shirt, he runs away. It is graphic. Like, I'm surprised. I don't know what the is going on in Spain, but there's some raw dog going on in that show. Each time, he reacts in more dramatic ways, from tearing his shirt off in frustration to screaming as he runs across a dark beach to confront her, interjected by clips of his wife getting railed. I mean, it's him running, and then it just cuts back to her getting absolutely pounded. I bet the editing team had a great time with that one. But this got me thinking, are there more former reality show contestants that had their lives ruined that didn't blow up on Twitter? Things that happened maybe back in the day? And that's why today we are looking at the dark side of reality television. Today's video is sponsored by Fume, the leaders in flavored air. We've all got bad habits, and breaking those bad habits can be a hard thing to do. So why don't you let Fume help? And Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that helps fill the void when you're ditching a bad habit. The best part is, Fume is not a vape. There's no vapor, which means you can use it anywhere. And they just launched new flavors, spearmint ice and cinnamon heart, to keep your company while you're building better habits. Plus, there's no nicotine, no toxic flavors, and no batteries involved. Fume also helps you calm down. With satisfying snaps and clicks, Fume is a perfect partner when you're feeling anxious. Fume has already helped over 300,000 people build better habits. Try Fume today, and if you order the Journey Pack now using my code PAPAMEAT, you'll get a free Fume topper, an awesome accessory to help level up your experience. Go to tryfume.com/PapaMeat or scan the QR code on screen. Thank you, Fume, for sponsoring the video, and back to the video. And first, we're going to start off with by far one of the most popular, one that I love, near and dear to my heart, Kitchen Nightmares. Gordon Ramsay. Kitchen Nightmares is one of the most popular reality shows of all time, with over 9 seasons. In it, celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay visits struggling restaurants in hopes of reviving them before they go out of business. In the British version, he's a little bit more caring. In the American one, he basically just calls you a big fat face idiot, and everything you do is disgusting. Which, to be fair, a lot of the people in these restaurants do have disgusting food, but god damn it, Gordon is gonna tell you. John Chapman, who owned a New Orleans Cajun restaurant called Chappie's, accused Gordon Ramsay of sucking the soul out of his establishment. He altered the menu to go from traditional Cajun dishes like gumbo and jambalaya to fried chicken and hamburgers, which also, it's like, I don't know. If you're in New Orleans, it's a Cajun restaurant, it's a Cajun city, but going from that to just fried chicken and hamburgers seems like a very, dare I say, not very eventful or insightful way of altering the menu. This, alongside the decor makeover, was promised to give them lines of customers out the door, but instead, their traffic was whittled down to around 1 table per night. Desperate to win back the customers that came to love the original Chappies, they reverted the changes 1 month later. However, the restaurant was ultimately shut down permanently soon after. Which also, dude, it's not like just because you change the fucking menu back to Cajun and fucking hush puppies and you change the carpet again, doesn't mean you're gonna get out of your financial slump. What they should have done is just be like, Gordon, write me a check. I don't know what I'm supposed to tell you. If you have a guy who drove one restaurant to the ground, you can give him fucking hot pickles and hamburgers all you want, but is he gonna know how to run the new business? I mean, I doubt it. Or we can talk about an English version, because you're probably thinking that only Americans get it bad, but there's casualties over there and, over there on the island outside the States, which Kitchen Nightmare shuts down Bonaparte's in West Yorkshire. Restaurant and wine bar Bonaparte's was struggling to make more than $200 or 200 pounds, euros? Pounds. More than 200 pounds a week before Gordon Ramsay came in to try to salvage the business. In the episode, he trashed him. He did trash him. The 12-year-old head chef.
It tastes like rubber. That was You were taking the piss, you know that?
Yes, got it.
12 years old.
Oh, wow.
12-year-old head chef tore that little motherfucker to shreds In the episode, he trashed Tim, the 12-year-old head chef, when he challenged Tim to cook a plate of scallops that ended up making Gordon sick, and he just let that little motherfucker have it. Throughout the episode, they tried to improve the cleanliness and professionalism of the kitchen, but ended in a failure. When Gordon left, the owner of Bonaparte's, Sue Ray, was in tears after realizing that not only was Gordon unable to fix anything, but the way their business portrayed on TV made people afraid to eat there.
Thank God she closed that kitchen down because it was fucking disgusting.
Which, I mean, you have a 12-year-old chef. I think people are going to be afraid. I mean, if you reveal that to anybody, I feel like, and he's cooking seafood. At the end of the episode, Tim was fired for his lack of cooking skills. He's 12 years old and professionalism. I mean, are we wrong? Is he 12? According to Sue, he wasn't actually a head chef as described in the show, but a trainee. She was supposedly promised that the episode would end on a positive note, but it was instead rather bleak. Sue and her chefs had a watch party when the episode aired, only to realize that it was going to destroy their reputation. That'd be a tough pill to swallow that night, watching the newest thing on the telly. This was the first episode of the series, and Sue didn't even realize the show was going to be called Kitchen Nightmares. She was unaware. She's just like, it's Gordon's cooking show. Before it was seen by millions of people, media stations from all over joined in on trashing the restaurant, leading to their business tanking harder than ever. As far as the rancid scallops, Sue told reporters, quote, "The truth is, the only reason Tim used the scallops was because he thought he was being asked to demonstrate the presentation of his signature dish. He never expected Gordon to eat them because they were about to be thrown out." That's a bit of a cop-out. We're just gonna cook it and throw it away? What the f are you talking about, Sue? Producers of the show claim that they only filmed things as they were clearly presented and that, quote, Sue Ray has only herself to blame. Even colder. I don't know who to trust here. Apparently, Sue later came close to homelessness after being 400,000 pounds in debt, trying to sell the restaurant as well as her flat to pay it off.
She apparently, I didn't get the age of Tim, but he started off as a dishwasher and he couldn't fill the spot to fill the chef. And Tim was like, I can do it.
I bet you has never even ate a scallop, let alone, I mean, what was he gonna say? My signature dish is fucking macaroni and hot dogs? Like, what the f? Or if we want to get out of kitchen nightmares, we can go to Extreme Home Makeover. Many reality shows revolve around giving lucky contestants extravagant things. While this seems wholesome and generous, many families are simply not prepared for what occurs when the cameras are gone. Hit my ride.
You think all those cars broke down?
Yeah, all those cars, they put fucking PS2s in the car in aquariums, and yeah, they break down and the fish die. And then Exhibit does not come to help. The Okvoth family appeared in season 2 of Extreme Makeover, Home Edition. Cassandra Okvoth, who was 9 at the time, was diagnosed with cancer. Instead of a home makeover, Cassandra asked them to redesign the children's hospital ward where she was being treated in order to raise the spirits of other patients. God damn, little saint. What the fuck? Not me. I would have been selfish as dude. I want a Spider-Man on my wall. Make my house Spider-Man. Like, you just want the whole structure Spider-Man? Yeah, want the whole building to look like Spider-Man. After completing the job, they decided to also turn their small home into a 2-story mansion. Okay, so what they're doing here is they're just like, this little selfish son of a bitch. If we don't do something for her, there's gonna be an uproar. We're gonna turn your small home into a 2-story mansion. What? During the reveal, they were beyond appreciative, but the producers of the show didn't think through what manufacturing a gift of this magnitude entails. I think it's more of a oopsie daisy afterthought because while the house was paid for, the utilities and the tax bills, they're not. They don't pay for those. A house of this size costed much more in utilities than their modest 1-story home. The first electric bill for this home, single month electric bill for this home was $2,200. Okay?
How?
I don't know if they're like, we're mansion owners now, so every light in the house has to be on and we're running the AC at 60 degrees. Maybe that could have been it, but there's no way their mortgage was $2,200. The electric bill alone is probably at that time triple what they were paying their mortgage. Not only were their life savings being drained, but having a mansion complete with a home theater being broadcasted all over television led to an increased attempt in robberies. Would you just not immediately sell the home? I wonder if they have a clause in there where like you cannot sell it for X amount of time, because in that way it's just people would just get on the show and flip the house or something. On many occasions, people would break into their home, one time resulting in Cassandra coming face to face with a hammer-wielding burglar.
Not Cassandra, she's cancer.
The cancer child, who was like, just give the kids something else, leave us behind, is put into now this like prison she didn't even ask for, and people are coming in trying to beat her to death with a hammer. Cool, Extreme Home Makeovers, that's awesome. Move that bus, fuck off. They were forced to purchase tons of expensive security cameras to protect themselves, despite still struggling to pay their bills. I probably would have hit up one of the producers. I would have been like, dude, listen, it's cool. You gotta get me some fucking cameras for this house or something, an alarm. How are they also making a mansion? They're There's no locks on any of the doors. We were strapped as it is, but no locks on any of the doors. During the height of the 2009 recession, they were able to sell the house for $540,000 at the last possible moment before foreclosure. They were able to pay their debts, but left with only $8,000 to start their new lives with. But on the bright side, at least, Cassandra is now cancer-free, married with children, and working as a gymnast. Nice little positive thing. I mean, to be fair, Cassandra's probably like, I don't even want the fucking house. It's weird to think that like they had to sell the house to get out of debt that the house put them in. That's bullshit. Let's get out of a sad time house makeover and go into The Bachelor, everybody's sexy dating show. Bachelor's been on way too long. I think there's over 30 seasons of The Bachelor.
Did you ever watch The Bachelor?
No. And you know what the thing is too, is I know that if I watched it, I would enjoy it. I love trash television. I love it. I eat it up. The only thing close to The Bachelor I did was Rock of Love Bus with Brett Michaels and all those trashy white trash women.
Hey, Brett! Hello, everybody!
God, he's like the hottest rock star ever.
And I like how there's like 4 seasons, and each new season he's like, well, the last one didn't work out. Because it ends with him like getting together with one of the girls and he's just like, I don't know, the spark died. You're like, okay, cool, Brett Michaels, thanks. But one of the Bachelor alums says that reality TV almost ruined his family. Chris Bukowski was a handsome TV personality that showed up on multiple shows of the Bachelor franchise. And in 2015, it was revealed that he would retire from reality TV as a whole. What a tragedy. In his words, quote, it almost completely ruined me, my family, and my career. Are you walking away from your career?
Well, I guess that's why it's saying it ruined his career. He has to quit.
In my career. Chris was ridiculed a lot for treating people terribly on his Bachelor appearances, often being seen as desperate and manipulative. I know all the guys are just like, hell yeah. I think with how these shows work is that if you don't get chosen, but you're a popular character, they bring you back. I think that's how some of those work.
Is that the Bachelorette?
I think it's both of them.
Okay.
It goes Bachelor, and then it goes Bachelorette, and it goes back and forth, but I think they just keep bringing people back as long as they're popular, I think. Chris grew distant from his parents because of how they reacted to the things people were saying about him on TV. And Chris's father didn't even want to speak to him. I'd be like, Dad, it's TV. You realize that, like, this is make-believe, right? This is not real. I don't even want to talk to you, son. You're not the boy I raised. It's like, I'm an actor. I'm an actor, Dad. Chris could feel himself becoming more irrelevant, but because he was obsessed with fame and wanted to fix his reputation, he would constantly return to future Bachelor shows, only to further embarrass himself. Buddy, Chris, me and you are in the same boat, all right? At least you're pretty. He became depressed and addicted to taking anxiety medication to cope with the stress. God damn. And in 2015, people saw him at his weakest, getting dangerously drunk on a season of Bachelor in Paradise and leaving after only 1 episode. He admits he doesn't even remember it. Dude, cool it with the Bachelor appearances. Because I know that the producers are looking at him like a fucking gold mine. You're addicted to fentanyl and Ambien? He's like, yeah. They're like, get on back in there, buddy. I think that now's your time. And then in 2015 again, he announced his retirement on TV. Near the end of his speech, he tells the audience, quote, I finally realized I'll never be able to change the past. I apologize you had to witness my struggle publicly over the last 3 years. He's a handsome man. I don't know. What happened to him? I hope he's alive. I don't know. 2015. That was just a couple years ago. It's a decade. Who knows what happened in the decade with him? We'll see. Hopefully he's married and he's not addicted to Ambien and hydrocodone or whatever. But sometimes reality shows don't just ruin people's lives. For many unfortunate contestants, it leads to their untimely death, which in a way is ruining them.
I was gonna say, yeah.
It doesn't just ruin their lives and leave them in the gutter, it actually kills them. Which we could talk about the adventure reality show that led to a helicopter collision. That feels like maybe a bit of a kind of a bad time to bring that one up with what's going on in the world. In 2015, goddamn, 2015, what the f is going on? In 2015, production began for a French reality show called Dropped. Drop. How do you say dropped in a, I am French, yeah, Drew.
Dropped.
Or say Drew. Drew. 2 teams of athletes would be blindly dropped into a remote location without any food or assistance, forcing contestants to work together to find civilization. Kind of sounds like a little bit like Naked and Afraid or whatever, but it is funny to be like, yeah, we're just going to drop them with no resources, and we'll check up on them. We have some GoPros in the forest. I'm sure they'll be fine. The season would begin in Argentina and consist of various professional athletes and Olympians as both teams were boarding their helicopters. Tragedy struck. Right after the helicopters took off, they moved too close to each other and collided. Both plummeted to the ground, killing contestants, production staff, and both the pilots. Yeah, there's no way we can show that.
We'll just recreate it in Minecraft or Gary's Mod.
10 people in total lost their lives, and the show was subsequently canceled. Could have been a great show. Yeah, we don't even know. We didn't even get to see it.
Why were they flying so close?
What's fucking weird in the video, they're like flying, and you're like, okay, there they go. And then just all of a sudden, they're just like... I've never been on a helicopter. There's nothing in my being that wants to get on a helicopter. It's just tragedy. So many people lost their lives. A lot of famous people. That's all people know. So many. I think that the amount of helicopter crashes a year is actually pretty staggering. You'd be surprised.
Have you seen the Afghans trying to pilot the helicopter?
Have I seen the Afghans trying to pilot the helicopter?
Well, it's like right after the Americans left Afghanistan.
Oh, then we just left a helicopter
Yeah,
there?
it was like truck driver tries to fly an airplane.
Does he just nosedive it?
Immediately goes up and just crashes. Tragic.
That is tragic. Moving on, Terrace house causes resident to end her life. I really got to stop telling people too that I'm going to do like a happy video or whatever. I saw in the last video, people were like, I thought you said this week was supposed to be positive. Well, this is my life. Hope you guys are looking for a nice escape today. Terrace House was a massively popular Japanese reality show franchise that picked a group of strangers to live together. It was praised for being far less dramatic than a typical reality show, often showing conflict that was more mundane but realistic.
ハンバーガー好きだけど今日はハンバーガーじゃなくねって言ってるだけじゃないみたいになっちゃってっていうことが許されない彼氏のよ。
The Japanese way. Subtle, but striking. During Terrace House Tokyo 2019 through 2020, one of the 6 residents was Hana Kimura, a 22-year-old woman who happened to be a professional Japanese wrestler. Looks like Harley Quinn. I thought she was a cosplayer, like a cyberpunk thing. Does that look like a cyberpunk cosplay? While many enjoyed her on the show, getting insight into her life as a wrestler, other viewers were ruthlessly ridiculing her online for being unlikable. But things began to escalate, however, after one particular episode. Kai Kobayashi, another member of the show who had previous friction with Hana, accidentally shrunk one of Hana's ring outfits after carelessly adding his clothes to the wash without removing it. She was fed up, y'all. And what followed was 10 minutes of Kimura aggressively tearing into the man in the heat of the moment. The cyberbullying she had dealt with became infinitely worse, which ultimately led to her taking her own life.
なんで私こんな頑張ってんのにあんたにそういう風にされなきゃいけないの？お前が喋れよ。
なんて言えばわかんない。今は本当にごめんしか言えない。
I like how it's just a person being like, I really wish you wouldn't have done that. This means a lot to me. And the guy isn't even like lashing back out. So opposite of American media, where American media, he'd be like, you bitch, I didn't mean to. I said I'm sorry. She's like,
Yeah, really? Really? I'll kill you. I'll drag you in the street and I'll kill you.
And in this one, she's just like, you know, I feel really hurt. Like, I wish you just would have been more, you know, careful with what you did. And he's just like, and then now Japanese people are just like, you are horrible, bitch! But people discovered gruesome now deleted tweets from before the incident showing brutal and bloody images of harm posted by Kimura. In other posts, she revealed the great toll that online ridicule had on her mental health. The rest of the season never aired, and Terrace House has yet to release a new season after the controversy that followed. Reports from former cast members reveal that the producers of the show would aggressively push residents to play certain roles in order to create some of its most iconic moments. Of course, dude. Every bit of reality television is scripted, or it's fabricated. Even if the contestants don't know, things are being played in a way to where the producers know they're going to get the outcome they want.
Do you think someone put her like outfit in the laundry?
I bet you anything somebody put her outfit in his laundry thing, and without him even noticing, he just like was throwing it in. Like something like that where he's like, oh, I didn't know. Or to him, he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then of course she's devastated. It turns out that this even extends to the argument that led to Kimura being intensely cyberbullied. Text she had sent to her friend prior to the event revealed that she was instructed to go off on Kai Kobayashi and even slap him if given the chance. Her mother claimed that the producers thought that Kimura should act as the heel, similar to how she did in the ring. They're like, she's a wrestler, she's the evil one. But because Terrace House has a reputation for being real and not exaggerated, producer intervention like this had a major impact on how cast members were treated outside of the show. Because people thought it was so real and that it was so authentic, they're just like, these are exactly everything that you're doing and seeing is real. And my God, that wasn't the case. And if we want to keep strolling down a positive lane, let's talk about the Ginny Jones murder. The Ginny Jones Show was a massive popular tabloid talk show from 1991 hosted by stand-up comedian Ginny Jones. Roll one of the jokes.
Women look for basically the same things in a man. I'll tell you what I find attractive on a man.
Pussy!
That was pretty funny.
I enjoyed it. In 1995, there was an unaired taping of the show titled Revealing Same-Sex Secret Crush, where guests would be invited to meet their secret admirers. I feel like the Jerry Springer show probably had an irreversible damage on the kind of stuff people brought into on the air. The episode became public later on as evidence in a court case. What seemed like a lighthearted show became strangely uncomfortable. A 32-year-old Scott Amador awkwardly confessed his love to his friend Jonathan Schmitz, only to be rejected on live TV.
Can you tell us what your status is? Are you involved with anybody or?
No, but I am definitely heterosexual, I guess you could say.
that's all good and fun, right? That happens all the time. Jerry Springer, right? Rip out your hair. It's like some fat redneck chick, and some like little person comes out and like nosedives into the crowd. It's all good fun, right? Because the audience got a big kick out of it. And Jenny Jones did her best to milk the moments for as long as she could by asking tons of follow-up questions, right? She was being the Jerry. Why would you do this, right? Trying to find the human aspect of these people. Days later, Scott pushed further by leaving a sexually inappropriate note at his house, despite knowing he was not at all interested. Jon confronted Scott directly, and he admitted that the note was from him. So now it's even more weird because it's like, dude, we're not even on TV. I told you no. I'm not interested. And he's just like, take that. I wrote it for you. Take it.
I bet he was thinking like, well, maybe on air he was pressured, but...
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You want me to and right? We can't say that because we'll get demonetized. But you want me to suck and slick and sniff and poke? And Jon's just like, no, dude, no. I have a date later at Dave & Buster's. Like, I'm like trying to get my dick sucked later by a girl. And he's like, oh, fuck. Oh, no way. Jon grabbed a shotgun from his car and shot 2 rounds into Scott's chest before immediately calling the police and confessing and turning himself in.
I don't know what got over me. I don't know what got over me.
All right, listen, dude. If one of my buddies came up to me and they're just like, I want to scratch and sniff you, I think I could just handle being like, no, versus pulling out the shotty and pumping 2 into the chest, I guess.
He was insecure. Rage filled him.
Which he used the gay panic defense. I didn't know what he was going to do. He was just weird and gay. 91 court 2 would have been like, I've had that happen. Which was a legal tactic in which a heterosexual person could claim they lost control after dealing with an undesired sexual advance from a homosexual person. The Salem witch trials become more and more real, I feel like, as the years go on. With this, he was given a lesser charge to 2nd-degree murder and was put behind bars until 2017. Well, that doesn't seem. He's been out for a bit now. Wow. 1995. So basically, he was in there for what, 12 years? 24 years.
Well, he got out 1 year on good behavior.
Good behavior. He's like, well, you did have the gay panic, my friend. That's such a crazy tactic. Well, given the conditions, we still gotta charge you, unfortunately, but we'll knock it down to a 2nd degree. Meeting adjourned. Which, to be fair, I'm not trying to say that the old boy pushing him with the scratch and sniff thing, and he's just like, scratch it. Listen, I'm not saying that's good, but it's a bit of an overreaction, yeah. Or we could talk about Jon and Kate Plus 8, and we get to watch their marriage be destroyed on camera. Jon and Kate Plus 8 was a reality show created in 2007 that followed a couple living their lives with 8 children in Pennsylvania. While the show became massively popular, their lives began to fall apart the longer it continued. Basically, they had a happy family, a big old happy family. We got to basically watch a marriage unfold and burn up into hellfire in real time. That was around the craze too, where it was like following either like a Mormon family with like a fucking cheaper by the dozen situation, or like a bunch of like, there was a bunch of different ones where it was like, I'm just shooting the kids out now. I don't even care. Because that show came out at the same time as like Little People, Big World. That was a thing. Literally just watching like a bunch of little people walk around. They had like one normal son too. You know, there was some producer who was like, oh, fucking jackpot. They have one normal kid. Oh, the show had become so popular that each subsequent season wanted more and more episodes. It got to a point where they had a camera in their face just about every day of the week, something that began to really put the two of them on edge. Yeah, dude. Over time, they became absolutely sick of each other. The production heavily leaned into it and even goaded the two of them to air out their personal grievances with each other.
She was probably, I'm sorry, can you stop breathing so loud, honey? He's like, breathe quietly.
The crumbling marriage became the new focus of the show. Once again, it's just all these things are all just producers just being like, good. You all should talk about it on camera for the show. Yes. And then like they like walk over and he's just like, don't forget to talk about how he refused to put the dishes away. You know what I mean? They're in their ear probably being like, yeah, dude, you're in the fucking right. She's being a jerk. They're like, yeah, he's a dickhead. You have different people in their ears 100%.
They're also playing it up of like, no, it's like, this will be like therapy. You guys are airing it out.
Yeah, it's going to give other people hope. Marriage is tough, but you guys are going to persevere. Like looks over at his producing partner like, like that. But what followed, a long-running series of controversy pushed by tabloid news outlets, from cheating scandals to public divorce in 2009, and even an ugly 12-year-long custody battle that they would sometimes discuss on televised talk shows. Eventually, in 2022, some of their children began to speak up about their struggles with growing up in front of the camera crew. Their son, Colin, admitted in recent years that it completely tore the family apart, leading to him being extremely distant to his parents. Colin also started to reveal much more shocking behavior from Kate after her divorce. According to him, Kate would specifically target him to vent her frustrations. He'd hear the front door open and he'd be like, oh, Here we go. Here comes mom with her fucking double-decker stroller or whatever. Colin, I gotta talk. He's like, God damn. This would range from being chastised verbally to having his hands and feet zip-tied and locking him in the basement for several days.
Okay. Whoa! What?
Kate had built a special room in the basement that would be covered in cameras so Colin could be surveilled while he was being punished. He was forced to homeschool and live segregated from his other siblings. She's like, well, what else am I gonna do with all these cameras? They just left him here. Yeah. Kate had admitted Colin to a mental health facility for behavioral and psychiatric conditions that were later proven to be completely false.
You shouldn't have been there is what you're saying to me.
Yes, shouldn't have, no. It's unfortunate that that's how my mom raised me as a person.
It was believed that she was only there because it allowed Kate to escape being caught for her abuse, and she started to claim that Colin had a, quote, distorted perception of reality. I don't know what he's talking about. There's no room in the basement. Like, okay, cool, because we have to go check it out soon. She's like, really? Okay, can I use the restroom really quick? And you see like run into the house and start like cleaning stuff up. At 11 years old, Colin was put on tons of medications that he didn't need, telling reporters that he often felt like a zombie. And he vividly remembered using crayons to write a letter for his dad, begging to be saved from the facility. And there's even fucking photos of the letters, dude. I might as well read one of them here. Dear Dad.
Joey Wheeler.
Yes, yeah, I know. Joey Wheeler. Dear Dad, I'm not trying to trick you, but I still love you. I told Mom I want to live with you. She said no. But right? She can't choose for me. I'm old enough now. I'm your son, not hers. She was abusive to me after I left your house. I'm sorry to take this to court because there's a bunch of redacted shit. You're my dad, my savior. Please help me and let me meet Colleen. I'm counting on you to get me out of here. Please, Daddy. I love you. It's an 11-year-old who wrote that in black crayon. They couldn't even give the son of a bitch just a ballpoint pen. Have you ever written with a crayon? Hard. So now he looks like a fucking maniac. He's like, I'm your son, and it's like all written out all weird and shit. The dad's gonna like read this and be like, Colleen Hyde. The woman like runs off. It was then that Jon realized how bad Kate was treating their children and fought as hard as he could to regain custody. Today, he has custody of Colin as well as his daughter Hannah, while the other 6 children live with Kate. Well, that's fun to know that Kate's just out there zip tying people probably and throwing them in those fucking hefty trash bags that you can like vacuum out the air. Whatever. She's like, gotta keep it down here to be safe, and puts them in like a fucking cupboard. I don't trust Kate. She scares me. I also don't trust Jon too. Jon's sitting there like perfectly tan. What's happening? Colin, wait, hold on, big guy. What's going on? He's like a Mai Tai. Okay, I'm on my way. Listen, reality TV is trash, right? That's all it is. If you watch reality TV, you are consuming a trashy product. It's just garbage. It is nothing. There's nothing of substance there. But goddamn, you know, it's the same thing with junk food. It's tasty, right? You watch it, you get hooked. Next thing you know, you're sitting on the couch and you have type 2 diabetes, right? Welcome to my world. But there's an inherent scumminess to the productions of your favorite shows, right? Every show that you watch, these shows are built on blood and tears. I'm going to tell you that much right now. And we live in a world where everything has to be sensationalized, right? They can't just, you saw even the Japanese version. Those motherfuckers are quaint. And all of a sudden now they're just like, throw this deal in her laundry, and it resulted with somebody's life being taken, okay? And sometimes that comes at the cost of treating people like props rather than human beings, and I think that's just a sad, sad meme. So this is what I'll say. Watch your reality television shows, but realize that you're watching something fake. You're watching a facade, and that these people that you're watching, there's probably a little bit more behind the camera than you expect. I'm depressed. I'm horribly depressed. One of these days we'll make a happy video. No one will watch it. Because it's the point that we're trying to make with this, that if you just had a show about a bunch of people who were happy, no one would give a good goddamn. People like to have the spice and the evilness. So I wouldn't expect that happy video anytime soon. See you in the next one.